Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S. here with another episode of What's the Word Wednesday, Season 4, the final season, Episode 17. So, gotta do it for the moment. And what we usually do, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post in the comments the topics for tonight, as well as I remember it will not let me do the background anymore, which it's all good, but we just gonna keep moving and doing what we do. Shouts out to T. Lucas in the building. Peace and love, man. If y'all don't know who T. Lucas is, please go get yourself acquainted with the brother. Phenomenal MC, dope person, as well as martial arts expert at this point too. So shouts out to you, my G. What's the word? What's going on? So as we're letting people come in, y'all let me know how y'all doing, how y'all feeling, and what's the word? Good, bad, all in between. So that's how we do it. So please share. That's what it's about. Plus, again, we're getting to the ends because after this, there is no more. December 27th, last episode for this, the series finale of What's the Word Wednesday. So make sure you tuned in for that. Not January, because in January, there ain't no more. But December 27th, for sure. Background was super dope. Appreciate you, brother. Man, I don't know what's going on with now going live is not allowing, or I just got to find a way on how to do it so I can have my background. I like to use it as a thumbnail for when I put it up on YouTube and other stuff. So it's all good. But appreciate you for sharing that, my G. I hope all is well with you and that you're continuing to pursue and accomplish all of your goals and dreams that you aspire to do. And that goes for all of y'all. So appreciate y'all so much. So for tonight's episode, we are going to be getting into, of course, the first half is going to be, or first third is going to be about current events. So we're going to be talking about news reports. So if you have any news, you're more than welcome to share it. Put it down in the comments. We'll talk about it. After the news, we're going to get into the next topic, which is going to be about mind versus body versus soul. So we're going to talk about the three. Some say the Trinity. Some say the three magical. I don't know. However you want to describe them. But that's what we're going to talk about in the second half. And then last, we're going to talk about, is there truly a final destination? So in the last third, that's what we're going to talk about. So, with that being said, again, shouts out to all those who are watching now. And if I didn't say, I'm going to say, shouts out to y'all that are watching now, as well as those who will be watching this later, whether on Instagram or YouTube or any other social media. If you're on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to your boy at A.D.V.I.S. Speaks, because there's going to be more content coming there. You may not necessarily always be popping in, tune in just to be listening to these long ones, but there'll be shorter videos to come. So support your boy, A.D.V.I.S. Speaks. Shouts out to Chicken and Beef. Here we go. Speaking of that, let's go ahead. Let's get into the show song, and then let's get the show on the road. Shouts out to Shy Tuna. I was listening to some Linkin Park Reanimation, and he did his thing on Forgotten remix. So shouts out. Let me pop it up and let's get it. So you only got about maybe another 6 episodes or so. It'll be the last time you're going to hear me singing a song, and it's going to be a real song. Yeah. And it goes like this. What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? Tell them like, what's the word? What's the word? What you heard? We got to know, yeah, what's the word? Again, peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S., and we are here with another episode of What's the Word Wednesday, Season 4, the final season, Episode 17. Thank you to everybody who pops through, whether it's for a minute, 10, hour, even 5 seconds. I appreciate y'all's time, appreciate the love. Shouts out to those who are watching this and will be watching this later. Again, go support if you can. If not, it's all love. It's all Gucci. I appreciate you nonetheless. With that, again, for tonight's episode, we are going to be getting into current events. So this first half, about 15-20 minutes, we're going to be talking about news. If you're not really wanting to listen to some news, come back in the next 20 minutes and we should be on to the next topic, which that topic is going to end up being mind versus body versus soul. And then we're going to be talking with the last topic on the night is going to be, is there truly a final destination? So that's all going to be in there. And I see a comment in here, and I will say this so then everybody will know for sure, okay, what are the reasons why. I think you're one of the first, you're like probably the second, third person that's asked me this question. So I will answer it here, and then we will get into our current events. So reason why that I'm making this the season finale, and like after season 4 for What's the Word Wednesday, that's it. No more What's the Word Wednesdays. I have two goals in mind that I had for What's the Word Wednesdays. And both of those goals were actually met the first 2 seasons. So in my mind, as well as for me, motivation wise, to keep the content fresh, or as fresh as I can, as well as consistent, after the 2 seasons, it already met its purpose. So the 2 purposes of why I wanted to start it was, 1, I started this as basically shouts out to Random Thoughts Talk Series, using the word open forum. I wanted to use this as an open forum for all of us, especially I started the show during COVID. So this was a place on a platform just for us to come and talk and build on conversations, as well as check in with each other, see how we doing, how we feeling, what's the word, what's really happening with you, since a lot of us couldn't come out of the house, couldn't leave if we weren't essential workers, etc. The first goal was to get everybody together. The second part of that was for basically me to actually tap in with the folks who really support me and give them the time to jump on and build with me. And, follow if I'm doing any other, content, music, things of that sort, so them to have a closer connection if they wanted to with me. So for me, after the second season, it already met its purpose. I had a lot more folks coming in, checking it out, as well as people hopping on, sharing their thoughts, perspectives, and building. So after that second season, I was already good. Mentally, I was like, all right, like we done already what was needed, as well as second season has 40 episodes. Compared to all the other seasons, there's 40 episodes in that one. So for me, it already did its purpose. These last 2 seasons, I'll be honest with you, I'm being very transparent, and I know I'm talking long on it because I think this is important for some people to know. I felt like I started dragging it, to be honest. I was losing motivation. Like, it was cool. I was loving the folks that would come in, but after a while, I noticed that my mind wasn't always fully into it, especially when we were having conversations. I wanted to make sure that I was intentional. So I noticed that the content was still there, but it wasn't what I would want it to be, as well as I really wanted to give y'all my all. And it felt like at times I would come on there and I wouldn't be there with y'all. So for me, it met its purposes, but I kept going because most folks loved it. So that's why I kept doing it, is for y'all. But it's about that time. Shouts out to the brother Sabu Smooth. And it wasn't even, I didn't even mean to transition into that with our song, my G, but much love. One half of the booth is here. The booth is on fire. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead. This is prolonged. Let's go ahead and get into current events. So as I'm doing these articles, if y'all have any news reports that y'all want to share, please put them in the comments. We can get through to them. I'm going to read the ones that I have up here, and then we're going to keep it going. But appreciate the question, T. Lucas. I appreciate that so much, brother. Like, that's my reasoning behind it. And I just got to be, upfront with y'all. I'm not going to play with y'all. So, first article I got for y'all. And these are articles that, again, that pops when I'm reading them. They just pop in mind that catch my attention, so I read them. So when I read the articles, 3 paragraphs, and we out. First article comes from State of the Union. And the article title reads, Donald Trump will be disqualified from presidency. I had to because, again, it's a headline. 3 paragraphs and we're out. Article reads, during a MSNBC interview, Representative Jamie Rapskin claimed that the U.S. Constitution disqualifies Donald Trump from seeking a second term as president due to having participated in insurrection. January 6th, y'all don't remember. Either 6th or 7th, I think it's 6th. The hard question is not, should not the courts end up deciding, because the courts will have to decide because it's a constitutional question, he explained. The hard part is, did he engage in insurrection or rebellion? That's the hard part for some, that Rapskin said. And then there's more questions being asked, whether if, he did the participation, how many of the votes were given. But the main thing that I see down here says you don't have to go back to somebody who has already proven himself to be untrustworthy by being disloyal to the Constitution and trying to overthrow the constitutional order. So I'm not going to read all of it, but if y'all want to continue to read into it, you can. The article comes from State of the Union, and the headline reads, Donald Trump will be disqualified from presidency. And I like how it ended right when the song ended. Shouts out to that. We got that spatial awareness in there. Second article comes from ABC News. And the article title reads, I think it's Rafah crossing. What's happening at the Egypt and Gaza border? There's a lot happening in the Middle East and other side of the world. So we're going to recap a little bit. And like I said, we're going to do 3 paragraphs and we're out. So, first article. Second article reads, some people in Gaza have been given clearance to leave for the first time via Egypt's Rafah border crossing since October 7th. When the terrorist group Hamas attacked Israel and Israeli forces later began its retaliation on the Gaza Strip. At least 8,700 people have been killed and 22,000 have been injured in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. At least 1,400 people have died and 4,629 others have been injured in Israel, according to Israeli authorities. So this is all, again, that's popping off and is happening right now. Shouts out to Santi. Shouts out to Exquisite Trees. Peace and one love. What's the word? We good. See y'all up in here. So, 76 injured Gazan residents have crossed from Gaza into Egypt on Wednesday, today, hours after the Rafah border crossing opened, according to Palestinian Rafah crossing spokesman Wael Ubi Omar. If I'm saying that correct, I may be saying it wrong. I'm done. At least 335 foreign passport holders, including dual nations, also crossed from Gaza into Egypt on Wednesday, he added. 51 aid trucks have crossed into Gaza on Wednesday, according to Omar, bringing the total to 268 trucks that have crossed so far. So, again, we have a lot of crossing, we got a lot of opening, we got a lot of, what's happening in and out of people, either leaving, coming, dual citizenship, number of stuff. But, again, all of this conflict, I'm still sending my peace out. I'm sending, protection, safety, as well as condolences to all those who have been lost in this tragedy and all of these wars and just these mishaps that are going on, these tragedies. So sending out my love to all of them. But if you guys want to read more about this as well, article comes from NBC News and the headline reads, Rafah crossing, what is happening at the Egypt-Gaza border? And I could also be butchering these names, so my apologies if I am. All right. Got a few more articles for y'all, and then I'm going to read some headline titles, and we'll get into the next topic. So, this article, the next one, third one, comes from Redders. Headline reads, U.S. Senate passes 3 bipartisan appropriation bills. So, for my folks, I'm not too sure appropriation, you can think of what it is. But what I've been noticing real quick before I jump into it, there's been a lot of bills, laws, different assembly bills being passed, as well as being put on the floor in different states and different spaces. It's important that we take note of this and wonder and read a bit about what these bills and these particular laws and assembly bills are being passed. So be mindful. So, again, 3 paragraphs and we're out. Article reads, the U.S. Senate on Wednesday passed 3 bills laying out funding plans for agricultural, military, and veterans affairs and transportation for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024. Congress has until November 17th, which is November 17th. I got something for y'all coming November 17th. Watch out. To agree on funding to avert a partial government shutdown. Here we go again. Government shutdowns. We were talking about it earlier, but here's another one. The Senate and House of Representatives are taking sharply different approaches. The Democratic-controlled Senate is working on bipartisan bills, while Republican-controlled House is aiming for measures that will pass with only votes from the majority. Ultimately, the 2 chambers and parties will have to agree on a common approach that President Joe Biden will sign into law. With short time, lawmakers from both parties agree it is likely they will need to pass a stopgap measure known as continuing resolution. I'm not too sure, again, all of that. It is a short article, but I'm not going to read more of it just because. But just to let you know, there's 3 bipartisan bills that are being passed. We have until the 17th before government has to do a partial shutdown. And we will see where all of that ends up going. But if you want to read more, this article comes from Redders, and the headline reads, U.S. Senate passes 3 bipartisan appropriation bills. So, all my Californians and folks who are avid McDonald's lovers, etc., this next article is for you. I'm only going to read 3 paragraphs, of course, but next articles are for you. The article comes from The Street, and the headline reads, McDonald's CEO sends dire warning to California. Specifically California. I wonder what that may be. What's going on? Again, 3 paragraphs and we out. Article reads, McDonald's MCD may have been beaten earnings estimates late in October, with revenue climbing over 14% year over year. But CEO Chris Kemp, I'm not going to say his whole name, I'm shortening it, his last name, Chris Kemp Sipinski, still has his doubts. The fast food giant, which reported third quarter earnings on Monday, revealed that the converted same sold store stock sales metric shows that the performance has been in operation for at least 1 year, has jumped 8.8%, notably high, about 7.79 analysts are arguing. But I want to see what this economic issue is. So, what is the catch? I want to see what it's really saying. Okay. Here it is. It says CEO issues economic warning to California. So it's more of, it's hitting your pockets. So in mid-October, the state of California enacted a new minimum wage law, which will push the hourly wage to at least $16 This brings it up by 50 cents. The previous state standard has been $15.50 and will remain so until the bill goes into effect January 1st, 2024. While some cities and municipalities will particularly progressive or higher cost of living already have a higher hourly rate in place, the law ensures every locality will pay its employees at the new established rate. So again, more rates, more things popping in and happening. I don't know why is that particular case having an issue from McDonald's, but I think it's because it's going to have an opposition to how much money they can end up making off of stuff. But that's just my guesses. But if you want to read more about this, especially Californians, you can. The article comes from The Street. Headline reads, McDonald's CEO sends dire warning to California. Bam. All right. Next articles I got for you, I'm going to read. Honestly, I'm going to read the headlines on these so we can keep moving. Because I thought it was just, again, a lot of news articles is interesting that popped that I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them, but here go the headlines and titles of these articles. So if you want to go and read them for yourself, you got the titles, you got the article names. Let's go for it. So another one comes from America Insider, and the title reads, "A second American Civil War has begun." I don't know what it is, but they said another one has begun. If you want to read into it, again, the article comes from American Insider, and the headline reads, "A second American Civil War has begun." It has Joe Biden on the front in the picture that they took. Another one I thought was pretty cool that I just saw. This one comes from NBC News, and the headline reads, "Two supervolcanoes, a world apart, have the attention of scientists." So we got some supervolcanoes happening. They were dormant, but now it looks like they're stirring up life. So if you want to read about these two supervolcanoes, I should say, check out NBC News. Headline reads, "Two supervolcanoes, a world apart, have the attention of scientists." Got that going in there. And then another one. This one has 3 bullet points, so I'll actually read this for you. And the last one I got for y'all, and I'll read some more headlines from NPR, and we out of here. But this last article comes from Business Insider, and the headline reads, "Ukraine has taken 17,000 Russians off the battlefield without firing a shot, U.S. Army Special Ops General says." So, what are those 3 points of, okay, how do they do that? First one, it says, Russia has taken hundreds of thousands of casualties since attacking Ukraine last year. Second one, thousand more troops have deserted, a reflection of Russia military's deep morale problem. So the morale is very low right now. And the last one is Ukrainian information warfare has helped drive those Russians away, according to a top U.S. general. So those 3 things has the type of the article made Ukraine has taken 17,000 Russians off the battlefield without firing a shot. U.S. Army Special Ops General says. So that's the reason why. Those 3 bullet points. But other than that, y'all, that's all I got for news. I'm just going to read probably 2 more articles or titles. But if you want to check out more news, you got MSN, you got CNN, you have a multitude of different websites. Democracy Now! You can even check out NPR.org. This is not an affiliation. Just let you know, go catch your news wherever else you can get your news. And don't be afraid to go get your news from other different sources. Just do so. So, another headline. NPR, again, .org. Donald Trump Jr. takes the witness stand in New York civil fraud trial. That's one. Two flight attendants sue United Airlines for discrimination on Dodger carrier or Dodgers charter flights. Looks like this is interesting too, and this is the last one. A tropical disease carried by sandflies. I've never heard of sandflies, to be honest with you. Is confirmed in a new country, the U.S. So we got something going on with sandflies and a new tropical disease happening. I don't know where, when, and how, but if you want to find out, put that title in of what I just said and go to npr.org. Right, y'all. That's been the news. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Thank y'all for sharing, giving me your thoughts, as well as just being here present and listening. So, transitioning into the next topic. Before I do so, of course, I got to get a disclaimer. Once I get a disclaimer, we're going to get into the topic. So, disclaimer. As much as I love being here on the front of the camera, speaking and talking to y'all in the comments and keeping a conversation going, would love to have y'all join and jump on so we can continue to have a further and deeper talk into the conversation. So, if you are wanting to get on, just know that this is recorded. This is live. This will be on multiple different social medias. So if you're not comfortable doing so, you can stay in the comments. But if you want to, just know that you are waiving the right and that this will be posted in other different social medias. If you're fine with that, then we're good to go. If not, just keep being the beautiful people that you are, sharing your comments and your thoughts down in the comment section. So appreciate y'all. That's the disclaimer. All right. Now, for the second topic for tonight, we're going to be talking about mind versus body versus soul. Why is there 3 verses? To be honest with you, it was the first thing that popped into my mind when thinking about when you hear, especially mind, body, soul, having these 3 different parts come together in unison. Or some people would just say, you know, the mind-body connection. Some people add the soul in later, whatever it was. But I wanted to look at each piece individually and see honestly what we had on it, what were our thoughts. But I've always heard this mind, body, soul. You got to take care of your temple. Shouts out to my brother Hypeson. You got to take care of your temple. That says body, spirit, and mental. So body, spirit, and mental. In this particular case, the soul is that spiritual. The mental is the mind, and of course your body is there. Peace and one love. What's going on, dope female trainer? Much love. Good to see you. What's the word? So, wherever we're going to end up going with this, is where we're going to go with this. But I'm going to break down all 3, and then after that, just talk about my thoughts on it. You have any thoughts on it? Throw yourselves up in there. So when you hear mind versus body versus soul, or either one by itself, when you hear about the mind, what are the things that pop into your mind? When you hear about the body, what are some thoughts that come up to thinking about the body? And then the soul. What is the soul to you? Like, how would you describe it? Is the soul something here? Is the soul in the feet? I don't know. What would you describe the soul to be? I know it may sound a bit esoteric how we might be describing some of this stuff, but these are some of the questions that people want to know. People want to ask. They want to, speak on and talk about. So why not do so? So, now, I'm not going to have to look up no dictionary definitions for this stuff, because when we talking about these words, I'm going to just say it now. It should be understood. If not, I'll just say my thoughts on what I think the word is, and that's what we're going from with it. So, when I'm talking and speaking about the mind, I'm not speaking necessarily about the brain. I'm thinking about the expansive part that's all encompassed together. They say the mind is, something that's very invisible, is untangible. You can't really hold it, grab it, capture it, anything. It's deep. It's deep somewhere in there. Like I said, it's for some people. Conceptually, it's the invisible, the infinite consciousness of a sorts. But for some folks, when they think of the mind, they think of the brain in those two. But they function very similarly. One of them, again, it's finite. The other one is unlimited. Shouts out to the movie too, Unlimited, or limitless, I should say. Not unlimited, but limitless. What's going on? Peace and one love. Chairman Dallas in the building. What's the word, my G? What's up? What's up? What's up? But yeah, so Again, when I think of the confines of the mind, I think of a space and a place where all thoughts, concepts, and ideas are just flowing rampantly, waiting for, again, your attention to be drawn to them. And the mind, of course, clichely said, it is a terrible thing to waste because from what I see it, there's a lot of potential within the mind. How people are able to overcome many different difficult trials, are able to solve not only impossible equations or do a lot of these, amazing intellectual feats, isn't due to me, I call it again that infinite consciousness of so much information that's coming in that's there and just tapping into that. And when I think of the mind, I think of something that is internally. It's not a outer mind. It's more so what's deep down inside up in here. So when I think of using the mind and how you utilize the mind, for me, an important, if not great tool to unlock the mind, besides, of course, knowledge and information and being able to sift and critically look through information to help unlock the mind even further. Going deeper into it, one of the practices, meditation and mindfulness, which again has the name itself in it, mindfulness. So basically being within that moment, fully understanding what's not only happening with your mind, but what you are doing actively. You're conscious of it, but you become so conscious of it to a point that you enter into a state. For some people, it may be bliss. For other people, it might be, anxiety, but it brings up a lot of not only thoughts, but it brings a lot of realizations. So for some people, mindfulness is a helpful practice to be able to be here in the now, to be present. While meditation in itself is to learn how to also quiet the noise. And sometimes, even with meditation, it's not always necessarily done to receive an end result. Meditation in itself is the result. You being able to sit with yourself quietly is the result. It's going to make me have a healthier life. The output is not so that I can be able to have less anxiety. It's for me to have more of a healthier mind state, a growth mindset. It's for me to be able to, heal all wounds. It's not necessarily that's supposed to be the end goal. Those are the, additional benefits that could come across. But the main intention with meditation is to just be in meditation with yourself, just to be there. So how that relates to the mind, again, it starts to unlock not only those thoughts, but a lot of the potential to do things. And the reason why I talk about this, and I'm saying meditation specifically for me, but also mindfulness, why it's such a powerful practice and why it can be extremely helpful, I will be very, very transparent and honest with y'all. Back way when, I really didn't take it seriously. I was like really sitting with yourself and being quiet, like very young. I'm like, it's not really my thing. It's not my speed. Why should I even do this? I don't see sitting by yourself, like quietly, like doing, and I would think of it the stereotypical way of like you're in lotus pose with your fingers up like this and going, doing all these different sounds and stuff. But once I actually tried it, and this was really later on, once I graduated from high school and I really got into college and I started taking courses, that's when I started to really see the added benefits of it. And what happened during that time, when really getting deeper into meditation, I started to have a lot more, not only epiphanies, and what I mean by epiphanies, a lot of life-changing thoughts that actually helped me dig deeper, not only into myself, but I've been able to be a lot more peaceful, been able to be more empathetic, more introspective. And I've been able to really, really tap into a lot of creative processes as well, too. So there's points where a lot of the stuff that I've created now has been based off of me after I finished meditating. So for y'all who don't know, my name is A.D.V.I.S.S. My name is an acronym, and the acronym stands for A Dreamer's Vision is Seeing Success. And that name actually came out of an experience of me sitting and actually meditating. And then from there, a lot more of what I would like to do, which I love acronyms, a lot more of those acronyms would come into play and they would continue to show up and pop up. And after I've kept doing that practice, I started seeing how not only it was sharpening my overall self, but it was really sharpening my mind. And I was very appreciative and very thankful of doing it. So, am I still doing the practice now? Yes. I would love to do it a lot more effectively, but that's why when you start noticing you're not doing it as much, it's important that you head yourself right back in. That's again me thinking when it comes to the mind in itself. Yo,
You brought up my topic, acronyms.
yes, I love acronyms. But yes, how are you doing? What's the word? Much love. I'm glad that you popped up in here. So,
Your
what you feeling? What's your thoughts on? I know you just heard acronyms, but what you thinking when it comes to mind, body, soul?
mind is moving in a new direction.
Mm. Wow. Okay. I love that. Oh, so you broke. Oh, see.
So when your mind comes into place, you never want to go backwards. When
Yes.
you're mentally thinking about something, you want to refer back to the beginning so that you can see which direction to go or how to maneuver. Sometimes you got to go backwards to go forward because it gives you
Yes.
a platform, a foundation.
Yes.
The mind again is moving in new direction.
I love that. I love that. Acronyms, y'all. If y'all lovers of acronyms, that was one that was just popped into your mind right now. It,
Um, the body is the temple for the mind to actually move or
mm,
to be infinite or to be able to carry out an action. The soul is the battery
mm.
that that gets the body moved. So the mind is the vision, the
Yes.
body is the temple, and the soul is the battery.
I love that analogy as well as I love the visual on that.
Absolutely, because
Yes.
the sight and vision are different.
Yes.
Sight can limit your vision, can never be taken away. Your vision is yours, it can never be stolen because it's in your mind. And actually it can take you to new heights that your sight can actually keep you from getting to.
Yeah. That's why you have the term or people use mind's eye to see
Mind's
with your
eye,
mind's eye.
absolutely. And a lot of people can see clearer with their mind than they can with their sight.
Yes.
If you think about it, Helen Keller,
Mm.
she was a blind and deaf woman. So her
Mm-hmm.
body and her soul and her mind was like the eye and the was the mechanical moving force for her because she couldn't see, but she wasn't always blind.
Yes.
But every last one of her other senses became sharper because she lost sight, which gave her more of a power because she could never be stopped in what she was capable of doing. Sometimes you can
Yes.
do better with your mind than you can with your sight.
Yes. And after you saying that, which again, shouts out to you and also Helen Keller for that example. It goes to show you too with what's happening around us in the world and
Mm-hmm.
all of the opportunities and distractions and choices that we have, it limits our ability to fully utilize not only the mind, body, and soul, but the energy that we come equipped with.
Absolutely.
And what I'm saying by that too is that once you start to lack something in multiple different areas, all of that extra energy, time, effort, and strength is put into that one area till the point is hyper, super, not only sensitive, but it's been heightened to a point where
Absolutely.
it's a moving train and it ain't gonna stop. Shouts out to my brother Huey P. Newton in the building. What's going on, my G? What's the word? Mr. Huey P. reincarnated, my brother. Hope all is well with you, my G. We talking mind, body, soul. This is down your lane as well, my man. If you got time, pop in. A much love. Would love for you to do so, my man. Um, but yes, it's it's in a not only like the way that you described it is very important, but I notice when it comes to the idea of the mind, body, and soul,
Mm-hmm.
many people at this point right now get very fixated on the body aspect. And such is so because that's something again that we're it's the like you said, it's the temple. I think of it as it's the vehicle. It's moving day in and day out. So I mean you want to make sure that your vehicle starts and is moving, but we're forgetting the fact that like how you just described it, that if the soul is the battery, if we're not feeding the soul, how are we going to get the temple or the vehicle, which is the body, to move?
Well, the mind operates the soul. So the mind comes first.
Mm,
If the mind is dead, the soul can't move the body.
mm,
So if you are mentally, if you're a vegetable, if you can't, if you get what I'm saying, so it's mind, body, it's mind, soul, then body.
mm.
Without a soul, your body ain't gonna move.
Yeah.
Without the mind, if you have out of the
Yes.
three, the mind comes first because it has. They all are encompassed in one.
Yes.
But all three of them can't. One can't work without the other. Now
Yes.
the body can be there, but the soul has to be within the body for the body to have the possibilities of moving.
Yes.
But the mind has to be able to tell the soul to move so that the soul can operate the body.
Yes.
So it was a situation where I had this boxer.
Mm,
He we had his targets that he was supposed to hit. He couldn't hit not one of them. I said, "Baby, close your eyes." I said, "Baby, because you're looking, you can't see for looking." So when he closed
mm,
his eyes, he hit every target. I said, "You got it." I said, "Because when a punch comes, you ain't gonna see that goddamn punch coming. Close your eyes. Feel your energy around you." He hit every target. I said, "When you can't see for looking, close your eyes." He hit every target. So it was the fact that he was looking so hard, and he was overthinking, and his eyes were moving faster than his arms were. He couldn't catch up, so he had to slow everything down and have it move in synchronicity. So, like I was saying, it's first the mind.
mm.
The mind tells the soul. The soul operates the body. You can't have a body and not that's moving without the soul, and the soul
Yes.
can't move without the mind touching
Yes.
it.
And from that example, which again, you coming hot with all the examples. This is like great for folks to pop into and get the visuals of it too. You make me think of again in this space and time where we are too, and how heavily we hear about mental health and mental illness and all of those different struggles that are more prevalent than they were before. And you make me think of depression in itself, when in a sense that's in the state of the mind being pressed,
Absolutely,
and pressed with what? Multiple thoughts, different, like the overthinking, as well as
absolutely.
just that whole energy of I'm not able to do of anything, I don't think I'm worth this, to a point where again it doesn't feed the soul, so then after that shuts down the body.
So depression is an over operation of things that you haven't been able to sort out.
Mm,
When you're depressed, it's a pressing of different situations that you have not been able to sort out and kind of categorize.
yes.
So and there was this perfect statement that says, "God, I'm done," and God
Okay.
said, "You done? All right, now let me work."
Hmm.
So it's carrying the burden of so much that you haven't been able to. It's like a cluster. It has become a mountain. You turn a molehill into a mountain. You
Yeah.
got sorting it out. So when you're depressed, it's still a mental state.
Yes.
And mindset stands for
Yes.
moving in new directions, solidifies effective thinking. So that's
Yeah.
mindset. So when you're able to just sit there, you go, moving in new directions solidifies effective thinking. So when the mind is jumbled up, then
Yes.
get a headache because you have it's like a rubber band. It's like a lot of things is balled up into one, so it tightens your head up, and so you feel like you're stressed.
Yes.
Once you sit with yourself and kind of categorize everything, you can throw some shit away that ain't even that you can't. It wasn't even yours to fix in the first place,
Yes.
and then you're able to see for looking, and also able to breathe because you're
Yes.
compounding things on top of one another. So it's pressing you down, it's boggling you down. So your soul feels weary and your body ain't going away. So it's still the same thing, still the same order of importance. Your mind got to be able to think. If
Yes.
it's clouded with shit, then you can't see nothing. Mind or sight. You can't see it. So you become depressed. And so once you're able to breathe, and you get a little God in you,
Yeah.
you sort it out. And you can see, well, that's not mine. That's not mine. I can't fix that. I can't. Is it going to make a difference in the next couple of weeks? Can I change it now?
Yeah.
If I can't change it, categorize it, put it in a box where it's ordered. It was placed in a what we call a tickler file. And
Yes.
so when because you can't finish everything up in one day.
Yeah.
It's just enjoy the day. And I've had to come to the conclusion that if I can't fix it now, if it's not going to make me better or make me better, then what's the point? If there's absolutely nothing that I can do with it, why am I worried about it?
Mm.
So
Mm.
but when you're trying to take on every point, then you overwork your mind, and your mind
Yes.
becomes depressed
Yes.
with shit that you can't. It's not. It's probably not even yours, and if it is, you have to give grace to yourself. Depression is real.
Yes.
So there it is. That's my state. That's my point.
Again, I love it because of not only how you describe it, but at the same point, you get me going thinking about how, again, not only just the importance of being able to sort things out, but being able to sit with yourself and be able to look in and take time. And I know it's very important, especially I think a lot of people got a great dose of that during 2020 because of the fact that some people couldn't help but be at home and sit with yourself and literally have the time to be
Thank
able
you.
to finally look within, or at least look and be like, dang, I actually haven't done much here in the house in a while. Like, it's because we, understandably, because of the system and where we are at and all the time and blood, sweat, and tears and effort we have to put in just to survive, just to be at a job, just over broke, to continue to, fund and keep living,
Absolutely.
we lose out on all of the time. It's almost as if we're into a system that we already start off when we're born. We have almost all the time in the world, but once we start to grow up and be accustomed and become a part of the system, what we're trying to do now is buy back all that time that we've lost, trying to accumulate, more money and stuff because we want more time. Because
Mm,
majority of the time, what on this 24 hours that we got, about 6 to 8 hours of that we asleep. Some people almost 10. The other 6 to 8, we're either at school, work, job, wherever we are. And then the other half of the time that we got is either if you driving or some type of transportation, you're already taking up points there. You get
mm-hmm.
home, if you have a family, you a husband, you a wife, you a boyfriend, girlfriend, all that is, you have that time. And then it starts to get down to the point of, okay, then how much time do I have left
Right.
just to be?
Absolutely. And you got to take it. Uh,
Yes.
and I always come an example. There was this man, well, this young man. He said, "Man, I'm dying to graduate from high school." He graduated from high school. He said, "Man, I can't. I'm dying to go to college." He
Yeah.
went to college. He said, "Man, I'm dying to graduate from college to give me a career." He graduated from college. He said, "Man, I'm dying to get a family."
Yeah.
He graduated from college, got a career, got a family. Said, "Man, I'm dying to have my first kid." Had his first kid. He said, "Man, I'm dying for my kid to turn 18." Kid turned 18. He said, "Man, I'm dying to retire." He retired and he said, "No, I'm just dying."
Mm.
Never lived.
Mm.
Never lived.
Out.
Never lived to die. You gotta be careful what you say. Because you're spending so much time trying to get to the future. You haven't even lived it. You haven't even appreciated the moment.
Yes.
He was
Mm.
dying he was living to die.
Yes.
And once he got everything he wanted, now he's just dying. Ain't that crazy?
I, man, the power is in the words. Again, we go to war with these words. And again, for me, acronym lovers out there, for me, wars, AKAs, words are real spells.
Absolutely.
And the more that you use those words and the phrases and how you put them out there, affirmation wise, mantra wise, however it is, you become a living embodiment of that because of the fact that comes from the mind. You use those, anything that you say, do, and think about within the mind becomes that fuel for the soul. So if you're wondering why you're in either toxic situations,
Hmm.
maybe it's difficult for you to find, the brighter side or the lighter side of stuff, you got to really evaluate what you're saying to yourself on a daily basis.
What was happening for wars?
So words are real spells.
We are real souls.
Mm-hmm.
I like it actually. I love it because actually what you're doing is you're opening up the mind to
Yes.
think about. Okay, for instance, accountability.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. She about to rock it. Let's get it.
Accepting constructive criticism often uncovers necessary triggers and behaviors, insinuating life is testing you. So
Are
the
you the one coming up with
absolutely
these?
these are I have 5,200 of them.
5,200. All right. Yeah, I got out acronyms for sure, but dang, that's beautiful. Go ahead, explain it.
Okay, doubt. You say destroy.
Mm-hmm.
You say depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I was coming up with one because I like when I give these words, or when you give me these words, they trigger me. And each one of my acronyms, which is based off mind, body, and soul,
Yes.
it gives a person an idea of how to maneuver. So let's say, for instance, the word doubt,
Mm-hmm.
destroying opportunities, utilizing bad thinking.
Mm.
That's a part of the mind.
Yes.
Destroying opportunities, utilizing bad thinking. So when your mind tells your soul that you can't do it, your body ain't gonna move. That's
Yes.
doubt. You're doubting yourself based off the thought process because either you have engraved in your head or you just say, I can't see myself
Yeah.
doing it. And soul stands for that do soul. Understanding life would start sometimes one start up some opportunity, I didn't get soul yet, I had to go backwards.
It's all.
You
It's.
answered so with that.
Yeah, take your time.
No, I got you. I wasn't coming up with an acronym. I was going to go back to mind, body, and soul. Um, the mind can be so loud,
Yes.
and you have to listen to it because you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. But sometimes you can if you think about this shit too much. If your mind is overpowered, it's overthought, it's overly excess with different points of view, you forget who you are as an individual
Yes.
because you actually adopted, you become an imposter for somebody else. When your
Mm.
mind is not stable enough to know have a foundation, it doesn't know where to begin. It doesn't have a what's that?
Oh yeah. Let's see if he turns it around. What's good, my G? Peace and love. What's the word, my man?
What's going on, man? What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, how are you? But
Doing
yeah, the
well.
mind can actually be it can be your own worst enemy. There was this
Mm-hmm.
guy he's locked up. He's in prison. He's in a what you call this a 6x6, but his mind was free.
Mm.
Then you had a man who was free, but his mind was so locked up. I said, how the fuck can you do that? How can you be incarcerated for 33 years
Yeah.
and have the positivity of somebody who's free, but a person who's free locked up
Mm.
mentally?
Yes.
So it's about your level of wanting to move forward. And when your mind ain't right, your body becomes toxic.
Yes.
So regardless of what you look like externally,
Mm-hmm.
you fucked up on the inside.
Yeah.
Talk that
Appreciate
talk.
you tapping in, my brother.
Yeah.
You make me think about for some folks, especially when trying to, build upon the mind and learning how to not only create your quote unquote happy place, or that place of solace to build yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It again, it's reinforcing the concept of the mind being the one that's the eye that's watching, the soul being the battery in the body that's moving. And because the mind is always working unconsciously, even when we're asleep, things are still being put into our thoughts, the way that we're moving, and how we fully heal ourselves even when we go to sleep. Again, it is very, very, it's imperative that you you take that time to not only fill things up, but also sift out, like you were saying, all of those other thoughts. Because if they continue to keep being tied, or they're again weighing you down, it's creating more and more of a obstacle for you to progress further. There might be, and that's where I also think of people who not only are forward thinking but have progressed at a very fast rate.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is because they unlocked something within the mind that helped to open up either multiple doors, or again shed so many of those layers that was holding them back, to a point that it felt as if they caught this grand wind that has just propelled them forward at a very fast rate. And you're wondering why. How did this happen to them? Why did this happen to them? Why maybe I can't get into this? And you should do this too and have that there. But
But you know what happens to them?
mm,
A lot of them commit suicide
mm,
because they too smart. They don't nothing. They overthink when they unlock all. They commit suicide. They end up having an unhappy life because why? Their minds can't settle because they're always thinking about shit. They can never settle and just be ill. If you think about it, a lot of them commit suicide. They die
mm,
because they thought they've unlocked so many areas in their mind that nobody can answer these questions. They become depressed. Have you thought about that?
mm. No, I think we were talking about the whole idea of depression, and those pieces and parts of how to you know see it and visually understand it, but not what you just said. No, we
What
haven't talked on that. But go ahead.
what she said? What's your name, boss lady?
Shaq, dope female.
Dope female, Miss Dope
Yes,
female. So, formally, my name is Chairman Dallas.
pleasure to meet you.
I wanted to piggyback on what you said because I actually just had it's today is I don't believe in coincidences for the most part. I do think like things line up and you got to take advantage of the opportunities when you see them. But I did some charity work today,
Mm-hmm.
and I speak on the things that I do too much, but I'm gonna speak on this because man, it's so ironic that y'all talking about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
The individual that I was talking to was a young kid that I used to coach
Mm-hmm.
some years ago. I was gonna help him get into the league for basketball, right? But this dude, he going through a lot of mental things right now. You feel me?
Mm,
And I'm just watching him, and I'm like, and it's so crazy that what you said is like sometimes they so like, cause I done been there. You feel me? I done been there where it's like, bro, I might be, but I'm like, I don't know. It's how you said you gotta settle it. You gotta find some way to ease back and
Absolutely.
just, huh? Yeah,
I'm listening to you. I'm agreeing.
right. And you gotta find some way to ease back and kind of cope with it. Cause you gotta use what you know
Mm-hmm.
and then put it into action. It's two people I always say it's in the world. It's thinkers and doers. But sometimes you can be both. That's rare, but some people they just get so wrapped up in here and it's so on point that they do commit those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady in the midst of this guy, this brother, man, he couldn't even see. Like as I'm sitting there, somebody called me in today. She wanted me to sit down with this dude, and I sat down with the brother, man, and I didn't even say nothing at first, and he was just, I could just see it in him. I saw the turmoil, I
Mm-hmm.
saw the everything, and I'm like, God, I'm like, what happened to this dude? You know, it's like I was looking at two different people, from the person that I used to, you know, train, and the person
Mm-hmm.
I was presently looking at. But I had to walk out the room, you know. And when I walked out, I walked into another conversation with some ladies that knew me, and she was talking about how she just was about to commit suicide last, you know, not too long ago, and she had to find Christ. And a, I ain't gonna go too much into it,
Yeah.
you know, but she pretty much, she was talking about like how some things just worked out for her, like some people intervened and, you know, helped her out. And a lot of people wrapped up in here, and if your mind ain't right, I think Miss Dope Female said this, but your external appearance, it could be on point. But if your mind not right, your external appearance don't mean nothing, because your inside is garbage. It's pure garbage.
Absolutely right. It's true, and I'm so happy that you brought this topic up, mind,
Mm-hmm.
body, and soul, because there's so many people who are imposters,
Mm.
and their imposter has become their reality. Their facade has become who they are because
Yeah.
they're trying to put on. They're trying to fit with the world, and the world
Yeah.
don't give a fuck about them. And a lot of people who are trying to fit with the world have no idea who they are, and they have no basis, no foundation. They don't even know where to start, so they become empty. And empty
Yes.
stands for, no, it's not empty. It's
Like.
life. Life stands for Lord, I feel empty.
Mm.
Um,
Oh. Okay. I got a different one, but I do like that one.
Go ahead. Let me hear it.
When you find life, you know, you're living in full existence. That's when I think of it, life, is living in full existence. But I still like that one too.
And this and I would like to take both of them because even when I said Lord, I feel empty, it's a great place to be because why He can fill you up.
Yeah.
That's a it's a great place to be because if you full, nobody know what you're full of. You be full of shit. It's so much that you can be full of. But if I empty myself out, then I have an opportunity to allow Him to fill me up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's how you think. See, you know how you see how you just thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different thought processes. Lord, I feel empty, and that's okay. Let me. And now it's time for me to work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so different perspectives will lead to different ideas, and
Yes.
different ideas will lead to different actions, and different actions can lead you to different outcomes. So it's about getting understanding and listening. Listen stands for life involves silence to effectively navigate. You got to listen
Mm-hmm.
and don't try to respond just to say I want to know. Sometimes if you listen long enough, it will answer your questions. And some people they can be quiet, but their mind's still talking.
Yeah.
Their mind is, and they can't even settle it. It's like I can't get these voices to shut the hell up in my head. So I got to quiet them. So what I do to quiet, boom. They don't either they medicate themselves, they go to sleep, and even in their head they still thinking. And when they wake up, they tired as fuck because they can't figure out how to shut the sound up. They can't
Yeah.
figure it out because they've unlocked the box, a Pandora's box. They don't know how to close back. They don't know how to do it.
Yes.
So and I don't want to take over your platform, but this is a very important topic. There are a lot of kids who, matter of fact, if you don't mind,
Go for it.
give me a moment. Let me bring it up real quick. It's a poem. It's not my piece. I don't even know who this young man is, but I gotta find this young man. I have to find him.
While you
It's called,
while you pull that up, I want to
go ahead,
say
baby.
something, man. It's so important that you talking about these things, though, especially the in depths about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because on surface, a lot of people do, they talk about it on surface levels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's certain things that CJ know. Like, I don't speak on a lot of things because, you know, I'm still living and I'm still doing things, but I speak on them in private. It's a lot of private conversations I done had with where some people that are, I guess you could say, well known, or, you know, and these people are, you know, they
Yeah.
shining, you know, they
Yeah.
look good, they doing these things, but they haven't found that full existence. they haven't found that, and I see it in their eyes. I see it in their soul. It's more like
Mm-hmm.
like they be wanting to cry. Like I done seen it in their eyes. You feel me? I done said some things to folks and made them cry, and it's like it's because they like when they talk to me, it's like, bro, I come with. See, my shout out to this brother, man, having this platform because he know, like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
real. Whenever I come at something, like, I go so I go so hard on myself, like, and that's how my pops taught us to be. You feel me? Like, you pulled it up, it look like you got it pulled up.
I'm waiting for you. I'm gonna wait for you to finish.
No,
I'm not gonna.
go ahead. I want to hear it. I want.
Okay, it goes. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say or do at this point don't even really matter, because the color of your skin has already confessed to the crime.
I know. Okay, continue. Continue.
You have a right to an attorney who will try his hardest to see that justice is served. But a jury of your peers, aka our attorneys, will have him outmatched 12-1. And if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you for free of charge because he is also on our payroll. Now, do you understand these rights as they have been? Whoa, nigga, whoa. Don't you move. I see you reaching for your 9mm wallet. I said, don't move. I see you reaching for your 38 caliber inhaler. I said, don't move. Stop breathing. You're puffing up your chest. I feel threatened. Stop resisting arrest. Is that will lay your ass down, face down, face ground. Black boy cries, falls on deaf white ears, and black mother tears keep graveyard grass green.
Mm.
And black men bones are the gavel with which judges finalize false convictions. And I wonder if Trayvon Martin's mother, how she feels that her son is a household name, but not a household body.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Freddie Gray's family can still say grace over their food, even though the prayers could not stop the thief from robbing him of his last breath. I wonder if Tamar Rice died playing cops and robbers, if he still saw the former more innocent than the latter. And I wonder if black women feel closer to God because they're steadily having to lay to rest their only begotten son.
Mm.
And I'm tired. And I wonder if black people's skin got darker because they were closer to the sun. And if that is the case, how many years did it take them to grow bulletproof skin because they're closer to the gun? And I'm tired. I'm tired of going to funerals where babies are being buried in boxes no bigger than the ones that they lay their toys in. And I'm tired of not being able to say, see you later to my friends because they're steadily practicing goodbyes to one another. And I'm tired of not being able to tell my girlfriend, let's wait till we get married because I'm afraid that she may watch me go in a box before she see me in a
Mm.
tuxedo. And I'm tired that I'm forced to stay woke in a society where laws are being written as lullabies for black people. And I'm tired. And if America is alarmed when she wakes up and sees that black folks ain't sleeping no more because the American dream is now the African American nightmare. And I'm tired because I'm forced to stay woke in a society. And if I feel like if I sleep right now, I may stay asleep forever.
Mm.
Yes, and right when you said the first few lines, I remembered. I just again, it's such a powerful poem. So poignant as well as each and every point. Giving up a reality of a lot of stuff. That's why, especially now, when we're thinking of the mind, body, soul connection to one of the quote unquote, I'll give it this analogy. One of the viruses that's impacting and really grafting to that mind and controlling of the mind is the culture at large.
Mm.
And reason why I say that's one of the viruses that's impacting the mind is this culture at large is not only just the culture of individualism, but the culture of, fast-paced living, the culture of, I see not much morality. I see a lot more immorality, as well as being able to, again, confide in the conformity of, and not to look within and find the who, the what, when, where, and why of who you are. So that culture ends up attaching to the person. And when you really try to beg and ask the question of, what truly culture is to you and how you they can't connect with the culture
They can't talk about it.
because of the fact that you're not connected really to you. So how you gonna really understand the culture you trying to connect to?
And that goes back to something that she said when she Miss Dope Female, when she spoke on that, when she said a lot of people are living in the, they get so wrapped up in here that they create the reality and they live in that reality.
Yeah.
Now, why that's good and bad, it's a double-edged sword kind of, because you got to kind of psych yourself out from all the narratives going on, and you have to push yourself into a better realm,
Yes.
like the new outcomes, the new people, the different things, right?
Yeah.
It's a song that I don't know the name of the song off the top of my head right now, but he said, I know some people live in nightmares, but they chasing dreams.
Mm.
And like, so for so long, like CJ, the things that I be going through and the things I done been through, some of those things. And like, bro, for so long, it's like I watched so many people close to me, like we was in these situations, and it's like I was like, damn, what was my part in this? Like, what was my role in this? Like,
Yeah.
I look like, am I helping them get better, or am I simply, like you said, like, am I just going along with it
Yeah.
just because? And when I took that hard self reflection,
Mm-hmm.
some of these people, they went. I'm like, damn. Some of these people, it ain't had nothing to do with me. They didn't know. It go back to your point. They didn't know they self. They didn't know. They like It's kind of like you preaching God, but you gave up on the mission.
Yeah. Mm.
And for me, it's like, because to carry that mission out, I mean, you're gonna be hated by a lot of people. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a lot of folks don't, they don't fuck with me for a lot of reasons. You feel me? And and that's cool. But I know each and every person that I come in contact with, I'ma only do what I can to help you.
Yeah.
Like, in whatever way that is. Sometimes, because I'm gonna expect that out of the person, even though people say don't have expectations. I broke that fucked up cycle a long time ago. Like, I told people, like, yo, you supposed to have expectations. You expect me to be my best, I should be expecting you to be your best. We should all, we should come together and you know put our best foot forward to become somebody more improved.
Yeah.
And I think that that's another false narrative when people tell people, like, don't have expectations. I always say, don't get your hopes too high,
Mm.
like for normal people, right? But for your
Yeah.
close circle, well, I got expectations. We there for each other. We do certain things, and we also respect each other within the evolving atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a thing I used to tell folks. I used to say, what got you here is what's gonna keep you here. And that saying was true. But what I didn't understand about that saying was, it wasn't allowing us to go past that point,
Yeah.
because we were just stuck in that moment, which is good. It's not to say we didn't learn or we didn't grow. And what is he talking about?
We'll entertain it in a second, but
Okay.
continue.
So, and what I didn't know is, like, once I changed that, I'm like, now I changed it to, what got you here. Well, no, what you did got you here, but what you do it's gonna keep you here,
Mm-hmm.
keep us going forward. Because I now understand, like, bro, you gotta have that substance. You gotta have something in you that's, like, people didn't understand me, and to this day people don't understand me. It's like, bro, I'll be up late at night. I'll call you late at night. So, and it's like, bro, I don't sleep, because it's like, bro, I'll be working
Yeah.
mentally, physically. It's like I be doing something where it's like, how do I improve myself? How do I improve the people around me? What could I do to potentially improve those people around me?
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff goes into the topics that you two talked about, that mind, body, that soul. And your soul, bro, like, it's so many people chasing dreams, but they living in a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that either until I started to become stronger. Like I really shout out to the teams, shout out to the squad. Man, they helped me get so much, you know, so much better in so many areas.
Yeah.
And I had to really I turned to my brother and I said, "Hey bro, why you always listen to all this violent music?" Like it's not to say I ain't never listened to no, violent
Yeah.
type of music.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dang, I'm like, bro, why? We can't have a good workout session without, that type of music.
Mm-hmm.
So I play some Ed Sheeran. Hey, we in the gym go crazy, you feel me? Or, some artists that might not be, and I'm like, bro, I get the same results,
Yeah.
the same outcomes. And that's when it started to click for me. It's like, bro, you got a good heart. And sometimes when people don't have their mind, they can have their body together.
Yeah.
I done seen plenty of people like phenomenal at their craft, but it's like if I talk to you, what is your mind sitting on?
Yeah.
Like what is your mind hitting? And it's like they mind be like it's garbage. You can't. First of all, they always on the phone. That's a big thing with me. It's like why we can't sit down and chop it up, like this in face to face type of conversations. And I don't knock people. Let me put that out there. I don't knock people that do these things because I mingle with people that do these things. We go to events.
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody got their own cup of tea. But my thing is, if you talking with people and you want people that's close to you, look for those people that got their mind together, their body, man, and they actually driven towards something. Because without that, you're gonna be stagnant. You're not gonna really know what you're working
Yeah.
towards. And some things are in the moment. Like don't get it wrong. Like some things do happen in the moment. Like a lot of great things in my life happened in the moment, whether it was good or seemingly bad at the time.
Yeah.
And you just learn and you grow as you continue to evolve. But yeah, man, tough topics today, man. Like very ironic topics, man. Because I actually just some great topics, man. And just so y'all know, man, I told CJ or Mr. Avis, as y'all know him as, I told him he needed to keep it What's the Word Wednesday up and keep it going. But hey, I'm advocating for y'all, man, because this is such a powerful platform, man. And I really hope and pray that some people go back and watch your your content and your material because this man put so much effort into this and just having some of the guest speakers that he has on this platform, man. You can learn a lot. I'm not saying take me 100% at face value. I'm not, you always do your own analysis on things.
Yes.
But yo, y'all definitely can gain a lot of perspective from this content, man.
I appreciate that, brother. And I appreciate you advocating, but shouts out again to T. Lucas in the beginning. He asked about the reasons why. You've already asked me the reasons why. And I think that's where, too, even to loop it in with the mind, body, soul conversation, is really learning the whole idea and the aspect when we talk about balance. And, when that something has met its purpose and it has done what it's needed to do, you never want to push it any further than because it can lose its power and its potency. So
Oh, again, my bad. Say that again.
so again, finding the balance and knowing when something has met its purpose so that it does not lose its power and potency.
Ooh, hey, y'all need to. Ooh,
So
hey.
that the reason why I also loop this back in with the mind, body, soul, conversation and thoughts of it is that's how you are able to maneuver with and empowering each part or aspect when you talk about mind, body, soul is when, again, knowing that you have had, enough to push you further. And what I mean by that is there's going to be, again, there's that such thing of under and over. So underthinking and overthinking, there has to be that point in time where you're able to at least have something to, again, have a foundation to start with so that you can continue to move on to the next thing. Because if, and this is what happens to a lot of creatives, as well as a lot of close friends, or I say close friends, a lot of good friends of mine that I know when it comes to displaying and putting their art out. I've said this in other lives before, but I want to bring it back up because this is an important piece thinking about it. Because of the mind and the overthinking and the multiple thoughts, the revisions of songs, ideas, concepts over and over, it gets to a point where all of that work that you've done for that song, that project, album, piece that you're trying to put out, if you do not let it know that it has served its purpose right there in that point in time, you will end up impacting its overall, again, power and potency, as well as it will lose its intention. Because when you are creating, which shouts out to, and I'm just going to say here for all the folks so then they'll know, I have a project that's coming out, and this is really dealing with a lot of stuff that's dealing with at least the present. It's real short, but the importance of understanding the present and the moment that you're in right now, and taking that and using that, and not trying to keep coming back to revise, revision, and redo that, because every time you do that, you are creating multiple moments, and now you're losing further and further away from what that original moment was. So to my folks and my friends that I say that are just creating content, or they're trying to come up with a song, they still feel like they haven't got it right, they still don't know if this is what they should be truly doing, my thoughts to them is, once you have gotten to that point where you've got what you needed out of it, let it loose. Do what you got to do, my G. Let it loose. Put the song out. Put that project out. Because once you are able to put that song out and you put the project out, that is when you're able to now, in retrospect, looking forward, looking back, see how far you've come, but as well as, if need be, add additions to what you need and what you are looking for when it comes to the overall idea and concept you're trying to get across. Because somebody's going to resonate with it. Somebody's going to find their point of peace to what makes them like the song, the art piece, or what you create. And if you don't practice being able to not only let go, but balance these things out, you're going to be holding on to so much, which then has an impact on the mind, which has an impact on the soul, and has an impact on the body. All of those encompassing together. So learning how to let go and let be. Yo, what's going on? What's up,
Hey, the topic is
Chris?
very existential tonight.
Mm-hmm. You missed there's a lot of jewels that was being dropped. Shouts out to dope female trainer. I have found my match when it comes to an acronym lover. She blew it out the water. Has some dope acronyms that
Wow.
I need to go back and inspect for myself. But yeah, I thought it was just an important topic, because guess what? We coming down to the end, so it's like, what do we have left to
Who's coming down to
talk
the
about?
end?
What's the word? It's coming
Oh,
down to the
because
ends.
because
Yes.
of the topic. I was like, are you talking about life? I've
No.
got a long life. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you got a
Coming down to
lifetime.
the
You got
end.
time within this life to
Life.
go through and get your experiences, and all that you are looking for hopefully comes to fruition. Yes.
We've got a lifetime.
Yes. The
Television for
assembly
women.
line is still running. Products have to be put out.
Hey,
Exactly.
chicken. Hey,
So
beef.
part of the stuff we were talking about with the mind body soul was what was brought up, really, and I liked the analogies and what was put together. But yo, no one helped me. I'm be honest with you.
With what?
I'm not financial when it comes to financial. I'm not good when it comes
Oh,
to crypto finances or any of that. So to
oh,
be honest with you, go to a professional. Be
oh.
100% with you. I have no clue. And I don't want
Yeah,
to steer you in the wrong way or
it's
any of that sort.
confusing.
So
Yeah.
please do. I know that's not my realm. My realm is a little bit of this right here, even though I still have a lot to learn in this realm,
He's
but
the
you
MC.
can.
My
MC. I
check
try to
one,
move
two,
the
one,
crowd. I
two.
try to move the crowd. I try to,
Is
do a
that what it
mic
stands
check.
for?
Yeah, MC moves the crowd.
That's the actual title, or is that coincidence? Or
No, there's a song. Shouts out to Rakim. Also, I think had his where he said MC moves the crowd because that's honestly what it
hmm.
does. Yeah, my queen.
Oh,
So
cool.
he's trying now. Now, Chicken and Beef is going to try to explain it to you right now. I did say that I would entertain it earlier, so let's see if Chris has some thoughts for you.
I don't. I don't.
So he
Please
said,
don't.
I spent all of my Dogecoin on my daughter's birthday party.
Well, that's what's up. I hope it was the time of her life.
I,
That's
I
what's
know
up.
we are entering that realm of cryptocurrencies becoming the thing, which I know that it's been on the rise for, a decade now.
It's
And a lot of
been
places
that
are
long?
accepting. Yeah, yeah.
I've been out in space. You guys gotta fill me in. Oh,
But yeah, I am not a financial expert. I am not a
what is
crypto
he
expert.
saying?
Yeah,
That's
crypto's
giving
giving
me
me a headache.
a
Yeah.
headache. Well, take a break. Can you take a break? Are you addicted to it? Can you get addicted to it? Is it a vice?
Is it advice? Great questions. I don't know. But let me tell you what part of the convo was, and then I want to hear your thoughts on this. So, when thinking of the mind, body, soul in tandem,
Mm-hmm.
all together, the consensus was that the mind is the overseer of all of that. So, without the mind, the soul cannot be the battery, and that battery cannot move the temple
Mm-hmm.
or the vehicle, which is the body. So the mind is
Interesting.
what supersedes all, and if you're not right within the mind, that also impacts how the soul is charged and filled, which then ultimately impacts how the body moves and not impresses, but more so how it moves throughout the day. And for me, looking at it in that particular way, it makes a lot of sense because when you said it's hard to say, yeah. So when I just thought about it now, when you think about that and all together with the mind, the soul, and then the body, it makes me think of because there's a concept. It says that the body has a mind of its own, and
Interesting.
before that you can even that's to me that saying in itself is alluding to the fact that the mind has the control over the body, which and hence for you to be able to fully do what you're doing too, you have to be one with, if not in the mind.
Interesting. On a personal note, I feel like it's my soul is the actual component that is in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
Then it becomes my mind,
yeah,
and then it's my body. It's always last. Body's last.
yeah, I agree with that one, the
That's
body
just
being last.
yeah. That's where kind of like that's how I move because my mind. I don't know. Sometimes I be out in space, so I can't really give the reins to my mind. My soul also controls um, my feelings and my emotions, and
Mm,
I tend to lead. I tend to lead with those first. I tend to pick up on my sensor, like outside sensories and how they affect me first,
yeah,
and then my mind comes into play because that's the processing of the
okay,
sensory,
I can see that.
and then I put whatever into action if anything needs to be put into action.
I, I can see that. I can see that. And I can respect that because I will definitely say from the way that you looked at it, I see how that actually can work for some, especially when we think of the next question that could follow. Oh my
I don't know
goodness.
about making him a
No,
king, but if you're
no.
down to go to space, my ship is in the shop, so just let me
When
know.
yes, when thinking of the last question for the topic, which get into that later. Before we even come into this existence, this is 3D. You know, the existence
Mm-hmm.
we here on the Earth, 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the concept again of when you come here and saying that you have an old soul, and
Mm-hmm.
how before you even inhabit a body, you already the soul in a form already. That's matter, that's life, that's
Mm-hmm.
frequency, and a lot of life and things that we can think of conceptual wise. It starts with a pulse. It starts with some type of energy. So I can see what you um, are getting to when you say that the soul for you is what's the driving force before the mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course the body being in there last. And I like it because it not only just thinks of just here in where you're trying to explain it in general, but get it to the specifics, because again, multiple perspectives, multiple ways helps us to fully understand it in other suits and avenues. So I respect it. I know for myself, I would definitely say that the mind is still there as a driving force, but altogether where I want it to still be, or at least for us not to forget, is that again they all work in tandem. One cannot really truly function without the other.
Mm-hmm.
And when one is falling behind, the others are also picking up the slack. And
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, it can either heighten the others, or
Mm-hmm.
it can cause more of a breakdown and dysfunction, because of you're not taking your time to either water, either do the maintenance, do the shadow work, any of those concepts you want to put together to be able to address what's going on and what's happening. So,
Mm-hmm.
in your sense of how you have it, if your soul ain't right, then it has a big impact of not only your decisions but your mind not being right, which then has an impact on how your body responds to everything.
Correct.
Which again, which again, which again, if it makes sense and it rings true, then it rings true to you.
Yeah.
But the whole thing between the mind versus the body versus the soul, or
It's
however,
always a
whatever
person.
type, whatever build a bear type example you want to put for any of these, the main idea with a lot of this is to make sure that you're checking in on all those sources. That's the
Ooh.
main thing.
Who wins in a fight?
Who wins in a fight? Mind, body, soul.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the body already is knocked out, because the body is limited in its uses and what it can do over time. Unless you are immortal or Benjamin Button with
What if you're
no
Kratos?
end of button. I was about to say the games are almost getting close to being done. I mean, I know he's still alive in this one, but I'm just saying, like, you can definitely harden the body to a point where it has better longevity. But
Mm-hmm.
between the two that's there, I would definitely for sure say the body has the least amount of longevity among the three.
Okay. So
Yes,
then he gets eliminated, or she. Um, and then it comes down to the mind and the
the
soul.
mind and the soul. So if we were doing it out of maybe out of tens, like 9 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, whatever out of times for me. Again, this is
No
my
hold,
statistic, okay, y'all.
no
This is
holds
my
bar.
statistic. Yes,
Like
this
in
is
the
my
wrestling ring.
statistic, y'all. Not my statistic. For me, on Earth, I'm saying on Earth, okay? On Earth. We're not talking about space, astral projection, all the other stuff. But on Earth, for me, the mind is gonna beat out the body. No, sorry. Yeah, of course, the mind gonna beat out the body. The mind's
Body's
gonna
already
beat
gone.
out the soul. The mind's gonna beat out the soul 6 times out of 10 for
Six
me.
times out of 10.
Six
What
times
about
out
the
of
other
10.
four?
The other four, that's where the soul wins.
That's very low. Why? I have questions.
6 out of 4. Yeah.
No, I mean for the soul. That's low for their soul. Why is the
Peace and
soul
love
losing?
for the fans. What's good? Oh, well, that's what I
Why
said.
is the
For
soul
me,
losing? Yeah,
My
I'm
mind,
asking.
my soul. So the reason why I said the earth, I said specifically the earth. And the reason
I
why I say
understand.
earth, reason
Earth,
why I say
gravity,
earth, no,
gravity.
very, very funny. For me, the reason why I say in the confines of earth is because again, I'm going through I'm saying from my own personal experience
Mhm.
that most of the time when I've had my mind right, that's how I've been able to fuel the soul. And then they've worked in tandem together. So when I know that I didn't have my mind right, I know that my soul was not going to, it's not going to follow. That's again
Hmm.
how my makeup and for me how that works out is that my mind has to
Interesting.
be right for all of that to come together because how I see it again on earth.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
reason why
Honor.
I have to say on earth is because I'm glad you brought it up, okay? Because in different existence, if you want me to flip it, I will not want to. But if I were to flip it and say, if we're talking about, before you even become a reality in any reality, I would definitely say the soul would win all the time
How does it
because of the fact
work
that,
on Jupiter?
yeah. Oh, so I'm not talking about that whole other different planet. So you trying to go to the whole solar system,
Exactly, you
okay?
got it.
Yeah,
It's called that for a reason.
That's why space is another different thing.
To
That's why I
clear your
said Earth.
mind.
It said Earth, okay? So we're staying on planet
We
Earth.
are
That is also
Earth.
the heart.
Mm,
If you put the H at the
mm,
end of it,
mm.
it becomes, the H in front, I'm
At
sorry,
in
the
the
H in front
beginning,
in the beginning of the E. There's your heart, okay? But how does your
which
heart
is
function?
also the soul.
But how does your heart
Wait,
function? It needs
I feel
what?
like your soul, your soul needs a hug on Earth.
Wait, what?
Your soul needs a hug on Earth because it keeps losing.
My soul needs a hug on Earth because it keeps losing.
Four
But
out
we're
4 out of 10. That's a loss.
4 out of 10 because that's it. Because like I said, it's true. It is nothing wrong. And for me, how we're looking at it is like you make it seem like it's a death match to the end.
That's
So
what I
that's
was
what it
asking.
is.
No holds bars in a wrestling arena. You've got mind and soul. Go.
Yes,
Who wins?
it's again. I'm gonna keep my statistics.
Your soul needs
I
a
am.
hug.
Yeah.
And
And
its
I
butt
that's
whipped.
and that's all fine because the mind and the soul are going to come together, and when they come together it's a powerful force. But the reason why I'm saying the mind is
Mhm.
because of the fact that for you to fully know that you are actually a soul inhabiting a body, you must be able to tap in and finally come to that what we call what awareness. So if I'm not aware
Mm,
that I'm not a soul, for me
okay.
personally, I'm saying if I'm aware that I'm not a soul, then I'm just going to continue to move throughout life without not caring about much of anything or anywhere. Not saying I'm not going to have any moral standings, but
Right, right.
that's not how I'm going to
Yeah.
know that there is more to life than just me having this experience on Earth. So that's why I said for me on Earth, I'm going to keep saying this specifically on Earth that
Yeah.
my mind would win out the soul because of the fact that I think of it again because we say life is a game, which when we think of saying that life is a game, it brings me to one of my favorite games to always reference, which is
Monopoly?
definitely not Monopoly. That's for capitalism. That's a whole nother topic. But
Monopoly?
but one of my favorite games, video games, is Assassin's
Oh,
Creed.
oh,
And
I never played
reason
that
why
one.
and the reason why I reference Assassin's Creed because it has to do with not only your ancestors but also past memories, past souls, past thoughts, and how that all comes together for you to unlock those precious memories to remind you not only where you came from but also what is your mission and journey while you're out down here living this experience of what you for either forgot now know what you need to do or what you've already known and now it has come to light.
Interesting. That's a very like
Do you truly think that the heart
intellectual
is
and
deceiving?
intellectual like perspective. Like like really into like thinking and like that that realm. So I understand that and I see that. But for people who are not like who don't go that deep in like thoughts and people who kind of go off of like whims and go
Yeah,
off of
yeah.
gut intuition, things like that. that's a little like intense, I would say.
And again, that's fine.
Yeah, because
Everybody's
it's
not
like,
having or living the same
oh,
experience.
not
That's
at
why
all.
that's why it's beautiful to have this. That's why
Yeah.
any of these conversations, again, am I the ultimate winner of what I'm saying? No. I'm just speaking my reasons to why I have and what I do and what I say. And then for other folks to chime in and to give theirs, because again, it just sheds more light on this stuff. Because
Mm,
for me, that's really down to how I am as a person when it comes to not only finding things out. Of course, I can be smart. All of us are an amalgamation of a lot of things, but
that's what it is.
there's always going to be someone who is the driving force. There's somebody who's going to be taking the wheel majority of the time. And for
Mm,
me, it for sure is going to be my thinking,
your
because
mind. Yeah.
once I've heightened that thinking, which to me, when I think of the mind, I'm not even thinking of necessarily the brain. I also think of what I call is the infinite consciousness. That's what I think
Hmm.
of. So it's almost like we're almost talking about a whole nother outer, almost space, a whole spatial thing. Because it's like I'm tapping into the ether. So these are just not only my thoughts, ideas, and concepts, but this is from generations before, generations to come, and where we are now. That's why I was taught when I spoke about this earlier too. One of the viruses that impact the mind,
Hmm.
at least right now for me, is the culture that we're in. And what I mean by is the culture, as in what we are seeing, displaying, and what is happening to us, and having such a huge influence on us, especially where we are now, has a big impact on the mind. And when I mean virus, there's also good viruses and there's also bad viruses. But
Wait,
it's
there's good
having
viruses?
yeah, your gut bacteria. There's good your
That's
gut bacteria.
bacteria. It's
Yeah,
different than a virus.
there's still runs in the same biomes. Okay, if I'm using different words, we would say bacteria, virus. Okay, miss, I went and got my biology major and chemistry facts. If I did, look
You
it
were
for
scaring
me.
me.
So I mean, that's look. If if it's not making sense to you, then it's just not meant. It's not meant to be. But I know ultimately it's important that you have a whole balance of this stuff. And I want to answer Santi's question, so I am
Oh,
going
what's the
to
question?
put it there. It says, do you truly think the heart is deceiving? My first initial reaction. This is not just response. My first initial reaction is yes. That's my first
Mm.
initial reaction, is that the heart is deceiving. Now, when I start to think more about it, of course, again, I think I'm not, it's not just only just, going with the flow, the spiritual sense of, all of this is here and there aligning. When I think about the heart being deceiving, is especially when it comes down to the whole idea of wants and needs, and how the heart can be deceiving in that way. So if you really know that you need something for you, but you go for the thing that you want instead, but that's not what you need, that's where that the heart can deceive you. If you think that you loved something from the start and then come like because of what you saw on the outside, so because we're talking about when I'm thinking about the heart being deceiving, more so in a sense of um the outer, not really more so the inner of like what you're seeing, trying to
Mm.
vet people or vet things. It can become deceiving because on the outside it can look great, it could feel great, it can be great, but eventually over time, for some people, they true colors come out after a while. So you can think on that instance that that's where your heart was set on this particular thing, but then come to find out that was not the particular thing that you needed.
I don't think it's the heart's fault. It's the mind.
Well,
It's the
they are
it's the
combined
perception
together.
that you yeah, it's the perception that you come up with
Yes,
ultimately. Like a lot of people like struggle in relationships because of expectations, whether
true.
they're expressed or not. But that's something those expectations are concepts that you came up with, that you created for yourself, and where the issues kind of come into play is like when you try to expand that thinking pattern or that belief onto other people. So I think it ultimately comes down to like your pers- your perspective, your perception that you come up with in your mind about each an individual, like each situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
this
your
is
heart is
where
just like a
yeah.
feeling.
And this
Now it's like a lead, where you like you get a lead on something and then you like investigate.
yes.
Yeah.
And this is where I agree but also disagree with you. And shouts out to Kundin for this cuz it made a lot of sense. They work in tandem together, and I agree, Santi, that the mind needs to control the heart for sure. But this is where I will say at the end, when you make any ultimate decision, you're not only taking into account the emotional, but you're also taking into the logical. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, at the end, it is an emotional. It's going to be the choice is going to be coming from the emotion because you felt it was the right choice after you weighed out all of the pros and the cons.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it have made sense logically, but then it feels good here. So then you're going to make it when it comes to the emotional. At the end, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's at the end. There's that emotional feel.
I was shaking my head at chicken and beef because he said to move me back to Maryland. I'm not going.
They don't get Wi-Fi in LA. Very funny.
Why is my phone choppy?
I don't,
Is he
don't know.
is he doing jabs? Are you jabbing me? That's why I'm not going back to Maryland. East Coast
Hilarious.
East Coast is too mean.
Goodness. But but in all, again, it is very tailored to each person. And
Hmm. In every like situation,
mhm,
and there's just always gonna be like different details, different
mhm.
factors,
But
influences.
that's the beautiful thing of, again, talking and having these conversations with people so and it's helpful because when you get pushback, it makes you push back in to then figure out, okay, where do I truly operate and where do I stand with a lot of this stuff? Like, have I only just scratched the surface, or have I gone a bit down deeper to really know, okay, how do I really operate when thinking about a lot of this stuff? So it's not, again, always a necessary to win somebody over, or to, I know you say, win somebody over, but also to just get them to really just not only think, reflect, and make sure, like, is this a piece of them that is true? And true as in, is it verified within you to make sense? So do I really operate more within in the mind to help drive all the others together? It's the one that's leading, or at least driving, and are the others the ones giving the directions or fueling the gas for the vehicle? Or is it, again, the soul being the one that's driving and the others fueling and directing, so then they know where they're going? Because at least right now, for I haven't seen somebody or hear somebody say, well, nah, once I get my body right, that's when, then it's the soul, then it's the mind. So again,
I'm
it's
pretty sure there's that one person out there.
yeah, no, for sure. And the
Yeah.
thing is, and the thing is, it's a beautiful sight to behold and to be able to talk with, because once, for me, it's all about the reasonings. Once I know your reason behind it, I'm like, okay, I get it. And I'm not gonna downplay the reason. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, well, that's a terrible reason. It's like, nah, it's like, okay, that's why it works for you. I'm just letting you know. I see why what I do works for me and what you do works for you. It says, when we must,
No, don't read it.
yeah,
Don't.
of course, of course, of course.
Mm-mm.
I'm just sometimes, you gotta entertain and take a bite out of the, chicken and beef. But guess what? I don't eat chicken or beef, so I can't take a bite out of this stuff. But
I think it's his bedtime.
it is hilarious. That is hilarious.
It's
But
supposed to be midnight, right? Yeah.
ultimately, knowing what's helping you drive there and really looking into all of this is really being able to do self-reflection and
Mm-hmm.
really finding things to help bring light to these aspects. I talked earlier for me about once I started to take mindfulness and really meditation into consideration is where a lot of epiphanies and things started to happen for me. Like, I used to go to church. I was very involved in a church, had my hands, ears, and choir, multimedia ministry, all over the church. Also was even working at the preschool at a moment in time. And I just like would just go just to go. But once I really decided to, take the initiative and to like take in the sermons, because I was always working, always giving up service, so I never really like took it in. But once I started to take in the sermons and really be able to sit there and be like, am I taking the Lord to be my savior and things and all of that sort? That's when I started, for me, I started to see that again, my soul was being fueled, was when I decided to take and make the decision and choice. Now, where did that lead me now? That led me outside of the church to go then search more and to figure out, what's really going to even feed my soul further. Because when I think of the Bible, I think of the acronym, which is basic instructions before leaving earth. So just having the foundation of knowing, okay, what it is, or at least from aspects of Christianity, now building upon that, where can I find more of this information and, continue to move forward? So for me, yes, it's building upon the mind for it to feed the soul, because a lot of information can feed the soul if treated correctly. And knowing the self, that's probably why for me the mind is the one that precedes and runs all of that for, is knowing thyself is just a very important concept for me, knowledge of self. And once I have the knowledge of self, everything else comes together. Very funny, yes. But ultimately it's taking your time, balancing stuff out. And if you're feeling that you don't know where you're going with a lot of it, or how to really approach stuff, or you're overthinking a lot of things, and you're lacking in many areas, sit with self, let some things go, and then you'll be surprised of what you allow to come to you, because you've either sat there and let things go. But
Valid.
yeah. You have anything before we move to the last topic for tonight? Probably do like maybe 10, 20 minutes on it, and then, pop up out.
No, I don't really have anything to add on that. It still is a cage match in my mind because of every time you put verses, I'm like, ooh, battle royale. Um,
Yeah. If we're in outer space, or we are in the ether, of course it's going to be the soul. But on earth, it is
why?
the
Because the
mind.
home court advantage, you think? That's where you're wrong.
No, not
Yeah.
home court advantage. I mean, when I think of the soul, the soul in this sense out there, it has a lot more space to operate. And I'm telling you, when I'm talking about the mind, I'm not even talking about the brain. It's something that it's really hard again to describe, not only with the mind. You could be like, well, then the soul is the same thing. When we talk about the solar
No.
plexus, and like you see in the certain,
Yeah, and the
certain area and
chakras.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm thinking about it, at least in range,
Hmm.
because the more that you provide space in an
Hmm.
area to grow, that basically is their the trajectory, as
That's
well as the amount of go
that's
ahead.
interesting that you tie it into that because in that case, because I know you mentioned like knowing yourself, and that's why you gravitate more towards mind.
Yes.
Well, for me, myself is more of my soul than my mind.
Yeah.
It's more attached in that way. I know myself based off of the things that fuel and my soul produce more so. And I think my soul produces the thoughts that I have more so than my thoughts producing um, characteristics of my soul.
Mm,
That's interesting. It's just a different function. And then my body is just out here in the ether,
yeah.
just out here hanging out. It's like, oh, we're here. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to walk? Okay, I'll walk. Open door? Okay. Like The Sims, since we're talking about games.
Oh my goodness. But see, That's somebody outside of yourself operating a lot of this stuff. Is that your
No,
soul?
that's my
Okay.
soul operating.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I
my
make.
soul is in control.
I had
Yeah,
to double check. I'm just making
nobody
sure.
else. No, this is me.
Okay.
This is me now. This is what did I say?
You good? Can you
Roll.
lose your mind over your soul and vice versa? You are keeping us here in this particular one. And after this question, I am jumping into the last topic, but I'm loving it. So, can you lose your mind over your soul and vice versa? So I want Chris to see what Chris got with this, and then after that, I will tap in. I think I already have my answer, but yes.
I think there's different situations where I could see that being plausible. You know, we have to make like ethical decisions.
Yes.
Like, one's gotta go. Are you
Yeah.
sticking with your mind? Or are you sticking with your soul? Um, you know, that's where my mind goes with that.
Yeah.
That's like, but that's like the most like extreme case, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, it could be as small as smaller battles as well within yourself. For some people, it is smaller things, and for some people, it would have to be like a life or death, like survival mode, like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the right thing to do, but it was the thing we had to do. Like
Yeah.
you know, yeah. Like isn't that what happened in Walking Dead with Shane? He kind of lost himself, kind of lost his way. Yeah,
So did he lose his mind or did he lose his soul?
both. His body was winning.
The one
I mean
person
that. I mean
in the
that
earth. I'm
literally
just
and sarcastically.
yeah.
I mean it both. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I
Yeah.
tag you in.
Yeah. Ultimately, I do agree with you. It's dependent upon the scenario. When I think about someone losing their mind, so in a sense of going quote unquote crazy, they lose all sense of self. And when I think of self, that's where I start thinking about the concept of soul. So
Mm-hmm.
when somebody snaps, that's where not only the thinking, but values, morals, principles all go out the window. And your soul is operating and depending upon, the experience and stuff that your soul has is whether going to either be to your benefit or your detriment. For example, if it's something that's extremely stressful to a point where again it breaks, that's why I don't even think it's not only just like a mental illness when we have some of these folks who decide to go on shooting sprees, but I think deep hidden somewhere within their soul, whether if it's a new, well, if it's an old soul, something that's previous happening that's impacting it, or if it's a new soul, is that since it has experienced this reality and it has was confronted with a lot of, you know, for the lack of better words, dysfunctional and toxic ideas of stuff, that's what you're going to run on. That's going to end up becoming the fuel. So those folks, once they lose their mind, they're definitely going to operate there within what's in their soul, and then eventually there it is. Now, to do vice versa, if you lose your soul, you know, and then over your mind, the only reason why I thought about, again, this is to the extreme, like you were saying. Think about when people sign those contracts, those type of contracts. Yeah.
What contracts? Whose contracts?
Oh,
There's
you know,
there's a lot of different contracts.
well, the reason why I did it in
Oh,
quotes is for our
I
folks
missed that.
in those industries,
Oh,
those
gotcha.
different types of industries. Rolling off my first lick of the day. Are y'all proud of me? Oh my goodness. Get yourself to sleep. But yeah, before you lose your mind.
And then his body, then his soul,
Yes.
because
Or
that's gonna knock him out first, and then his soul is gonna go to space,
it's just gonna pop out of his body. He's gonna have it
like an aliens.
Oh my goodness. Gonna have an outer body experience from all of that. But I think of it from that aspect of when you sign on that dotted line, they talk about how you basically are selling your soul. And once you end up, quote unquote, again, in that ritual of doing so, you see how some people, their eyes become lifeless and they're just running off of the machine and what is just feeding into their mind. So I think of it when it comes to that aspect. Again, it's an extreme, but when you think of somebody who's basically, selling themselves, less, whatever the situation may end up being, it slowly chips away at the mind to then have an impact on the soul, and vice versa. So in both aspects, yes, if you lose one, it will definitely have an impact on the other.
And then the body will follow.
Yes, that's why there is a saying that once you do this and this, then the mind or the body will follow. I don't know the saying, y'all, but it's there. You can find it.
You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yes. Can you? Okay, it's just up water. You can't make it drink.
That's not the right phrase. It's the only one I had on.
That is hilarious.
The only one I had.
Let's see. Okay, so what is this? Okay, let's see. I might have some. Okay, so this is I think I just picked it up real quick. I think I might have found it. Um, the difference in this, as far as believing justified. Think about this statement. Okay, it says, "Speak to the heart, and the mind will follow." So,
Mm,
in your particular case, that's what will make sense when you're able to go deep in and talk with the soul. Then the mind will follow it.
because the Lulu is the Lulu.
Oh my goodness, that should not be a word or phrase or any of that. And then the other one is, where the mind goes, the body follows.
Oh, we were close,
Yeah.
but you can't
Here this
make
is
you
here.
can't make it drink.
Oh my goodness. Right. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the last topic for tonight. And the last topic and question that we have for tonight is there truly a final destination? Question mark.
I mean, I don't know because there was like 4 movies. So
How you gonna have a movie title that says final, but you have sequels to it?
that's
Uh-huh.
making me feel like no. I think everybody just got sent to the waiting room. I don't know. I'm waiting for the 6th movie.
My goodness. Well, maybe that's the final one, so they're done. They're completely done with it this time. But my thoughts on it, because I had you go first on the other question. My thoughts on it is, there truly a final destination, and in terms of Earth. I know I keep coming back to this. In terms of the physical, Earth, yes, there is a final destination, but in a sense
The ground.
of, um, if you want to put it that way, for me, it's going to be spreading my ashes amongst the water. That's where my final destination is going to end up being for me. Um, but but in the realm of space, matter, frequency, energy, and all of that, you you are forever there. So the destination is not that particular point. You are forever present
So it's not the final destination.
when you are in the solar system.
That's so terrifying.
Why you say that?
I'm just here forever. God.
Well, so the reason why I say that too, and it's a very, for me, which I need to start looking at a lot more of them, since like how we're looking at these sayings, especially a lot of them in English.
Mm-hmm.
It alludes to answers to a lot of these questions. So when I think of you having, again, that sense of not only just the solar system, but again, always being there. I think of your ancestors. I also think of, those who are there out there who are watching you, that their soul has become a part of, the all, or in some
Mm-hmm.
particular case, for people, the creator, however you want to describe it. But if they're there, how, not only how long, but how would you describe a lifetime, or what is that in space, or any type of, contextual years? What is that forever? What really truly is forever? But your limited time here on Earth, and tapping in with, the ancestors, past family members and things of that sort, and now that they're there up above, or wherever it is to you, watching over you, that's where I say that, there is no final destination for that, because you're always in close contact with them, because they are any and everywhere. But while you're here physically, yeah, your final destination is, meeting your quote unquote maker.
Yeah, like on the freeway, in the bathtub, on a roller coaster. That's
Oh, I don't. You had to
terrible.
bring up roller coaster. My goodness, no.
Terrible. In
Uh,
an elevator, oh my God, that traumatized me.
no. You made me think of the roller coaster of the person from the Supreme Scream. And,
Oh, that did recently happen, huh? I was listing things that happened in the movie, but but yes,
yeah, look, I just
unfortunate.
noticed Andy had a halo on his
But
head.
yeah, fate, man.
You're
Don't
noticing the
lose.
hats, man.
Don't
Shout outs
lose.
to the hat, man. Shouts out, man. I forgot the company. I have to make sure I get a true shout out. But yeah, I had got this hat. One of the companies, it was at Back to Basics. Shouts out to Out the House. Um, and they have a lot of dope vendors. I think they're West Side, if I can be correct. They're West Side something, but yes, that's the hat.
I don't know if there's a final destination these days. I hope so. I'm tired.
uh, tired of
On
what
Earth,
particularly?
the body, it needs to go. It needs to go. It's done. It's done.
Is there
But
intervention that's needed? I'm just wondering.
no, oh, not by me.
Uh,
Not by me. Just no, no worries, no hotlines, no after school specials. No, I'm good. I just mean in general because it's
yeah,
inevitable. It's
yeah,
inevitable. It's you gotta laugh because it's gonna happen.
and no, true, no,
Feel
true,
like,
and it's, to me, it's an important process of life, and to me, everything in general. For something to have an ending, there must be a beginning. We're starting to talk about, the hermetic principles and things of that sort, because it's very difficult to fathom
mhm.
not having an end. And you know how many people love endings. If they don't think something's ever going to end, what ends? One of the things that ends up happening is that they not only, I should say, one of the things that they lose their purpose and why that they do stuff, but also they
Like
don't
a Macy.
cherish. Yeah, they don't, and they don't cherish or show gratitude for the moments and experiences that they have. If you know that you don't have a consequence or something coming for you towards the end, for some
Hmm.
people it becomes boring. I'll be
Hmm.
very, very honest with you. Is it boring for me? No. Like, because again, I'm a different type of person. Again, we have all of our experiences, but for other folks, if they don't know what's really going to happen at the end, if they're not getting a reward at the end of something, why would they be doing the thing in the first place? If I know that if I'm learning and doing all of these videos and all this other stuff for it to all be shut down, and I had that in my mind, I'm like, then I'm not going to do any of this. Like, why why should I continue doing any of this if this is all just going to be shut down? It doesn't make, again, if for that, it will not make sense. For other people, again, if I'm going to work out, if I'm going to work the body, just knowing that I'm going to continue to keep eating throughout life, well, why should I even continue to work my body out even though I'm going to be eating? Again, that's just on the surface level of thinking about stuff. So it is very important when we talk about not only having goals and setting things and knowing, okay, what is the ultimate goal or the final destination with this stuff. What happens is we lose out on the important piece of that beginning and end, which is the middle. The middle is the biggest part. Is the biggest part of any of that. And that's what we usually call the journey. And if we see that it's no destination and we're just on a journey, we're just aimlessly just moving around. We're not knowing.
No, you are just lost in the forest.
Lost in the
It's still a part of
what?
the forest. It's a part of the journey.
The force?
The forest.
Which one?
Not the forest. The forest with the trees. Forest. Forest.
Oh, the forest. I thought you said the forest. I'm like, okay,
No, the forest with the trees and the woodland creatures and the elves.
so you're lost in the forest.
That's all. Yeah, you just don't know. Sometimes you don't know. You're still creating the middle part. You just are unaware that that's the middle.
Yeah, no, none. So the whole thing is, yes, you're going to be on the journey, but people are going to be on the. They're like, what? How long? Forever, since they don't have a quote unquote destination. They don't know what it is. Yes, you're going to be on that journey. I agree. I agree with you that it's
It's
just
like it's
because
still
there's no destination.
happening. Yeah,
Because there's
yeah.
a destination, they just don't know when and where. So yeah.
It's
So I guess yeah, they're gonna
like
be
a
lost in the forest.
surprise. It's like a surprise.
Well,
Oh, it's
guess
this is the end.
yeah, and guess what? Some people don't. Again, we're gonna have those people that's like, I don't like surprises.
Oh,
I want to
oh
know.
no.
Yes, I don't want to know, or I do want to
Oh,
know, so
it
I
sounds like
can
you do
make
want to know.
sure that I'm prepared. But guess what? Life is not like that. You got to roll with the punches. One day the waves are not going to be coming in, and you can walk into the water with no issues. Then the next 10 minutes, then waves can start showing up. You just have to go with the flow and go with the waves as they come. I'm not saying that, of course, I have scripted out. I know when like the next whatever years or what year, is going to be the last breath that I take. That could be at any moment, knock on wood. That could be at any moment. But what it is, because in hindsight, because of course, for me, death, that's one of those, again, for the final destination for folks, it reminds people, especially um, when it happens very close to you. So, rest with the universe, my uncle, my great uncle. But it's always when things like stuff like that happens, it not only just brings to light not only the mortality, but also remembering to cherish the life and the moments and stuff that you have. So that when you do get up the next day and you're graced to have another moment and day to be breathing, to keep doing what you're doing, you know that ultimately you're keeping yourself not only focused, but you have that why while you're still here on the journey, so that while you're there on the journey, you can really take in the looks, you can take in the sights, you can take in all the attractions that are around you and feel and know that you haven't fully cheated yourself in a way. And what I mean by fully cheated yourself is we get too comfortable, we forget about that stuff. And I'm not saying to always stay uncomfortable, but in a lot of discomfort, that's where you find growth. And when you
Mm-hmm.
find that growth, that's how you find, again, your trajectory of how well you're going to do. So having an idea of a final destination, whatever it is always a lengthy reminder of keep your butt in the gear. So then ultimately whenever that comes, you've known whatever you were doing the last past moment has actually set you closer to what you were trying to get to and achieve, you know. at whatever the end of it may be. But when you are there guiding others who's having this experience on this plane, this 3D plane of Earth and where it is, you are forever. In the words of Andre 3000, you're forever, forever, ever, forever, ever, providing guidance until, and again, is I don't know, reincarnation can be a thing for folks. Some people, if they do, if they don't. But in some way, shape, and aspect, when you go up into that part, you are forever. And when you come down here, you are finite, and to a certain extent. That's my thoughts. See
Speechless.
what's written.
Speechless.
Again, these are not like the answers to life and all this stuff. This is just one thought from a person who's just, again, thought these ways and just thinking, whether it's been going into the mind to then go further deeper into the self. But
No,
also,
we do not.
he's doing
Sorry.
the most. Don't even worry about it. He's doing
No,
the
I'm
most.
wearing mustard yellow and black. He's wearing orange.
Well, honestly, it's brown. From you, I know because of the lighting, it looks orange, but it's brown.
Fun fact, brown is a hue of orange.
Wonderful. I'm going to say brown right now. Okay, I am going to say brown, and the technicalities of stuff can be argued forever. That's all I'm going to say. This is where I find and I let go, and I settle with a foundation that I can start to build upon until it gets broken down, and then I can go back and rebuild like Jenga. Um,
It's
yes,
it's it's well, it's not quite.
fall colors.
It's a
Yes.
tan. It's a tan yellow that I'm wearing. Like a tan yellow.
See, yeah, some people's final destination is figuring out what these colors are. Yeah, just like it was on social media, whether if the dress was blue or if it was a different color, you saw gold. I don't know.
Yeah, I was feeling festive today. It's November 1st. Happy Day of the Dead.
You talking about Dia de los Muertos
Yeah, November.
again? See, and we talking. Look, and we
About
talk about mind, body,
dead.
soul, and
Yeah.
the final destination.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm again also speechless
He
when stuff
amazed
like this happens.
himself.
I'm
If
it
you could
happens
slap your knee, I know you would. Like knee slapper. I got it.
again. Uh, but oh man.
I
Again,
cannot wait till we get old. I cannot wait. I
I'm
cannot
gonna
wait
be
to see you
I'm
when
gonna
we
be
get old.
playing I'm going to be playing chess. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I
But
am
you're gonna be still as funny as you've always been. I cannot wait. We're just gonna be old.
I have
You're
to
still
keep
gonna be
that sense
yelling
of
out.
humor. I
You're gonna
have to.
if you're playing chess, somebody makes a move. You're gonna be like, "Damn it, no!"
Oh my goodness. If I'm ever to I still have that phone. If I'm ever to get it to somebody to help
You need to sample
retrieve.
it.
No, I can't.
Yeah,
No, I can't.
you
I should
can't
say I
get it.
can't. Right now the sounds in that phone it doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
So I can't even access, and like I can barely see on that phone when I charge it. I can see all of the voice files I have for a lot of stuff. It's just that the speakers and things don't work, so I would have
but
to
the
go ahead,
file is
get it
send it.
fixed.
Yeah, we gotta get somebody from the Geek Squad to help us
Yeah.
out. We need that sound.
Say y'all don't know, y'all don't want to be old. I'm already playing chess.
I mean,
I look.
I've been playing chess for a while.
I
It's
will
a fun game.
graciously. I
Fun
will. I
game.
will graciously age because I
You
think.
will.
I think it's again.
You
It's a
will. I see
beautiful.
that.
It's a beautiful process to go through because of the fact that not only to help with a reshaping of a culture, but also again the building of the next generation, and that's to me ultimately one of the other goals that I do have while I'm here is to help shape and mold the next generation in some way, shape, or form, whether if they take in the information or not. And each day that I go in and I work with Time Traveler Funny, and each day that I go and work in in the schools and interact with the youth, I can see, bits and pieces of them taking, those thoughts into consideration. And that's all it is at the end of the day. I'm just planting the seed. And if I'm also there to help water it to a point where it grows and blooms already right in front of my eyes, I'm extremely grateful, because that wasn't just only, a small portion of me pouring into the student, but it was them taking the initiative to decide this is what they wanted to do. And I spoke about last the last Wednesdays about a student that went through an experience like that and came back then this year and was able to explain to me how much she's changed because of the things she took on and decided to do so, after not only talking with me, but a number of people that was in her corner. So for me, that's a very important thing. It can be a selfish thing and a selfless thing at the same time, but I know it's important to develop the next generation, because of course our generation or our parents' generations, y'all are like, I'm done, it's y'all turn, and I haven't got too much of the blueprints. And for me, I don't want the work that I've done to be fully repeated again by the next generation. And if I can give them the tips and tricks already to sidestep a lot of those things, I want to do that. And I want to make sure that that's done so that we can actually get to where we're going a lot faster, but more efficient. And some pieces is working. Some parts of the culture is actually working. That's why I said it can be also a good and a bad. And the reason why I use talking about, but then with a virus, some of the viruses take each other out. It's a whole nother different thing. But part of the culture is good because there is so much information there. But the thing is, we have to sift through it. And a lot of the stuff that may not be the most, lack of better words, sexiest things to talk about or see is some of the stuff that we really need to. And it's important that it's brought up so that kids are not left in the dark when asking and trying to figure these things out. So having these life skills and being able to really talk about not only death, grief, dying, um, relationships, you know, it's a multitude of stuff. And I want to be somewhere in that conversation to help, shed some type of light. Even if it's I don't know, I'll go find the information and I'll come back and give you what I've learned, so that then you can make your own ultimate decision or however you want to go about it. Or if it doesn't make sense to you, learning how to use what you have to create something else.
Yeah. And I think you're killing it.
I'm doing the I'm doing the
And
best that I can. I'm
I think
great.
you're killing
I'm grateful for it. I know I have learned now working with youth and just, you know, kids in general, whether if it's elementary up to high school. And once they have, not only some of them that continue to bug you, that you've actually, made an impact in some way, shape, or form, but just the body language when speaking to them. Some A lot of them I know some will process by like looking a different way, but some who were like that, after a while, now they wholeheartedly will have their eyes fixated, their head up, and they're like listening, like
mm-hmm.
they're really actively listening to what's being said. You know, um, it's it's really dope when that does happen, and that's why it continues to fuel me to continue to do what I do, even when I feel tired in the mind, where I feel tired in the soul. But that stuff is actually what fuels my mind and fuels my soul. So it's just a perpetual. I'm pouring in and then pouring back in, and it's beautiful. It said, can you interview my homegirl? She's doing a film on gun violence in schools, and it's a Kickstarter and could use the support. Just DM me the information, and I definitely will check it out. I'm making sure that I pay up all these student loans,
Oh
so
yeah.
then I ain't
They said
got,
they're starting. I said, huh?
yeah. so I can be done with that. That'll be the biggest debt that won't be weighing on my mind. So then after that, my soul can feel at
And your
ease, and then my
body can rest.
body can rest.
Yes. I knew it. Body's always coming last. Poor
Yes.
body. Poor body. Body needs a hug.
Well, yeah, because you can physically hug the body. You can't physically hug the soul and the brain. Yes. He said, don't Hollywood me. Well, if
Wow.
you don't with all of that, no, I'm being
He's
serious.
not Hollywooding you. You offered to sweep the temple. He's asking one request.
You're hilarious. Yeah, you gotta send the information. And I'm not gonna be like, yeah, let's do it right now. I like to be informed on my stuff before I do that. And congrats to the family in the building right now. Jazz, congrats again. Got married. And she is a wife now. So hope all is well with both you
Nice.
and Mr. Reflection Error. Shouts out to y'all. Say
The
my
Black
peoples
People Award
or
Show.
talking to people's about people's immutable black.
I guess.
All right. We getting to that point where I think we need to get to a final destination.
Yeah.
But before I'm wrapping it up and asking, we're thinking about there being a final destination. We can also think about it in terms of very smaller actions. And what I mean by that is because how we were speaking about the whole idea of the body and not even saying body and soul, but the mind losing. If you lose your mind, you also enhance losing the soul. Lose the soul, you enhance losing the mind. It's varied upon the scenarios and experiences that you have. But even on a minor scale, when it mean by final destination, it is basically the end point. So you even having a goal is the final destination or something. So if you had a goal of, in the next month, I want to be able to read 3 books. Once you get down to the end of that month, the
Right.
final destination is if
Is
you've
the end.
read that.
Right.
Yeah. So
Correct.
it's not always necessarily like final destination,
Dead
like we're done and
of the
but
book.
more, but
The book
yes,
is dead.
yes, yes. Okay. I don't even know what we are going on and doing, but
Only,
okay.
only if
Yeah.
you start calling me by my last name, chicken.
He said, mind tricks the body, body thinks the mind is crazy.
Oh
Buckshot.
my.
Shouts out to Buckshot. Shouts out to Buckshot. Shouts out to all the boot camp clique. Duck down. Shouts out to Sean Price. Rest with the universe, Sean Price. Man, shouts out to Black Moon. Man, Smith and Wesson. I'm like going through everybody. Rock
Are you
everybody.
naming like guns and hunting attire? What is going on?
Who? Oh, boot camp clique. So you're talking about these are artists.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're artists.
Yes,
Okay.
artists. So Bootcamp Click is it's a whole faction of folks, a faction. See, I'm using words pertaining to military on this, but yeah, no, a lot of those folks is really dope. There's like many groups within other groups, but yeah, shouts out to all of them. But
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, let's go ahead and let's pop into takeaways, final thoughts, and wrap ups for tonight. So, Chris, what are your final thoughts and wrap up from the conversation for tonight?
Um, I was really, 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 really late tonight. So from what I gathered, it was a fun battle royale, I guess. What is that?
Yeah,
Oh.
you wanted to know what I was doing. I was just fidgeting with this. That was it.
I guess when it comes to the battle royale between the mind, body, and soul, it's a different outcome every time for different people.
Yes.
Um, that's why they battle every season quarterly. Um, and then is there truly a final destination? I mean, I hope so. And that's literally all I have tonight because I was late and didn't really get to hear the other perspectives and stuff. So I only have my thoughts.
And that is where we start with only our thoughts. This was only a thought until it became a thing. So, but I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your, thoughts that you had. And shouts out to everyone else that did come on too. Shouts out to Dallas. Shouts out to Dope Female Trainer for dropping both of them dropping a lot of, food for thought, as well as Dope Female Trainer for dropping a whole grip of acronyms. So I know I'm definitely have to get my acronym game up for sure.
Have there
Just
been
on
any
the
more
DS.
words
Any more words? What?
or real spells?
Oh, I have not done those episodes, so those will actually be coming back in a while. That's honestly probably what's going to happen once the word is done. Is I'll probably start popping back into doing that series again.
Oh, also, I have a request for you. If
Mm-hmm.
you could tell Chicken and Beef to start referring to me by my last name, that would be dope.
They're listening now, so I'll pass the collection of plate around for the guest donation. Oh my goodness, the love offering. I'm done with y'all. All right, to wrap up for tonight. Again, thank you to everybody who came through, shared their thoughts. Everyone that's down in the comments that popped through, all those who maybe even popped in here for like 10, 15 seconds. I still nonetheless appreciate y'all. So when it comes to current events, news, worldwide events happening, the main thing is please stay aware, be informed, take your time, and really proper preparation prevents poor performance. So being
Mm-hmm.
informed on what's going on and what is truly happening will help not only prepare yourself, but prepare your loved ones and the family that's around you. So stay in the know of what's going on around you. Two, when it comes to the mind versus the body versus the soul, the ultimate sense is that they're all intertwined. They are They are there to work in tandem with each other. And however you stack them, however you build a bear them, however you want to arrange them, just know that it will become what you have in lead will be the driving force that will fuel the others to lead and to go. So really take that time to love on yourself. Take that time to find references of yourself. So doing the soul searching, as well as if things are really holding you down and you're not sure of what's to come, breathe, balance, let go, find your patience, awareness, consistency, and empathy, and many answers will come to you after you really let a lot and let a lot go and you receive. And lastly, is there truly a final destination? 1,000% wholeheartedly, yes, there is. And depending on, again, the circumstance, shouts out the lyrics, the circumstance which thereof, that's where you'll find the final destination. Can you also still find your way even if you don't have one? Yes, you can. You will be just floating until life happens or doesn't happen, until eventually something will. Because man, I wish I could quote Substantial right now because he has a song really about there's no happy endings. Man, it's a really good quote too. But shouts out to that. I wish I could. But yes, there is a final destination. That destination is set upon you, or it can be wherever you are, whether goal wise in life for humans is that's closing the last chapter, your last breath. When for those who are supporting us from the nether and the space, the solar system, it's floating for forever.
How do you know you're floating? What if you just walk
Or
normally?
I, I'm thinking, look, we don't even know what the soul looks like. So I am being a little bit biased in saying
It's
floating. I'm thinking
yellow.
something is floating. Um, Again, that's a whole nother different story. We weren't talking about colors today, besides the fall colors and everything else earlier. But with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. If y'all on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to your boy to A.D.V.I.S. Speaks. on YouTube. There's going to be more content coming. If you like short stuff, more will be coming soon for that. If y'all have ideas, please shoot it to me. Again, I'm open and willing to listen. Final episode, December 27th. Bring everything, be ready. It's gonna be packed house. Might be the longest episode. You know, we might get kicked off of Instagram because it only goes up for 4 hours, so we might hit that 4 hour mark. But we are making our strides. I appreciate those who are here for the ride. This is a moment in time that we are all creating together, so we will rise. Bars. But other than that, y'all, peace and one love. Until next time, I catch y'all for another What's the Word Wednesdays. Peace.